thank you for viewing this recording of a free event provided by Next Village San Francisco for our community. Next Village San Francisco is a local nonprofit providing services and support that empower seniors to live independently in their own homes. We welcome people who want to keep connected with their community as members, volunteers, and supporters. We host 30 to 40 free activities and events each month for the public, and our members have access to our network of volunteers. Learn more and get involved at nextvillagesf.org. We hope you enjoy this video.
My name's Sally Westlake, and I'm an outreach specialist for the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, or DFPI for short. Next slide, please. So today's objective is for you to learn how not to become a victim of frauds and scams, because the more you know, the more you're able to protect yourself and share with your clients and help them protect themselves from financial fraud. So I'm going to share with you all about the department, who we are, what we do. And Jackie, up next, will tell you all about the pandemic-inspired and trending frauds and scams and how to use online services safely. And then the resources of where and how you report fraud. And then we'll have plenty of time at the end for questions. Next slide, please. So in 2020, Governor Newsom signed AB 1864 and AB 107 into law and created the California Consumer Financial Protection Law, CCFPL, and renamed the Department of Business Oversight to the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. This law, CCFPL, expands the department's oversight to better protect consumers, keep up with emerging financial innovation, and spur responsible job growth. For the first time in its history, DFPI can now oversee providers of certain financial products and services previously unregulated by the department, such as debt collectors, debt relief companies, credit reporting agencies, consumer repair companies, and more. Next slide, please. So the department, or DFPI, we protect consumers and foster trust by regulating companies and individuals offering financial products and services. As a state regulator, we license and regulate California chartered banks, credit unions, money transmitters like Venmo, PayPal, Western Union, payday lenders, student loan servicers, escrow companies, and now debt collectors, rent-to-own contracts, credit reporting agencies, and more. So a full list is available on our website, but basically, if they're providing financial products and services to Californians, we likely regulate them. So what's our role? We enforce the laws and regulation to the industries that we regulate. We conduct audits to ensure state and federal compliance, investigate consumer complaints of financial abuse and fraud, and pursue legal actions against those operating illegally or are using unlawful, deceptive, or abusive business practices. We foster innovation by encouraging the development of responsible financial tools that help all Californians thrive. So we can accept and investigate consumer complaints about a financial service provider that you think may be using unlawful, unfair, deceptive, or abusive practices. With a live call center and translation service in dozens of languages, you can contact us if you have a question or having issues with the provider or need to file a complaint. Our goal of the outreach team is to increase awareness, so to protect consumers from these predatory businesses that are engaging in deceptive practices, to help protect consumers from falling prey to frauds and scams. Next slide, please. So how do we promote consumer awareness? First, we provide presentations, trainings in partnership with community-based organizations and legislative offices. Our topics can include a variety of financial topics, including fraud prevention and financial empowerment. Our team's focus is to inform the most vulnerable in our communities avoid scams and make choices that set them up for financial success. We educate seniors, military, veterans, new Americans, students, and homeowners about using financial services wisely and about the department's activities, as well as providing resources. We also provide educational publications. It's available on our website, but we can also send you a hard copy for free if you prefer. Now, this is just one of our publications. It's called Protect Yourself from Fraud. This booklet is designed to provide information about financial investment fraud and how you can stop and prevent it before it happens. The booklet is great to have on hand because it's going to remind you about some of the scams we'll be discussing today. And the back of the booklet has a comprehensive resource guide with the phone numbers and websites you're going to find useful. Now, studies have shown that an informed and educated consumer is less likely to fall victim to financial fraud and scams. Now, let's talk about those pesky phone calls that we all receive daily over and over again. Up next is Jackie Wiley, also an outreach specialist for DFPI, to tell you more about how you can protect yourself from fraud. Jackie?
Thanks, Sally, and thank you all for attending our presentation today. And like Sally said, if you don't know what's going on out there, what kind of frauds and scams that are targeting us, you're not going to know how to really protect yourself, or you're not going to stop and think about it. So let's get started. I have a lot of information that I want to share with you all today. And let's see. Okay, so we're going to start with phone scams. And I have this picture up here. So hello, who's calling? Do you actually know who is on the other end of the line? So keep that question in mind. So let's start with some of these pandemic and common scams. So many of these are common scams you may have heard of, but have become labeled as pandemic inspired scams. And what's happening? They're more frequent and they have become more sophisticated, but it's all with the same sole purpose of gaining access to our personal and financial information. There's other names that are as follows: phishing with a phishing, vishing, which is voice phishing, and smishing, which are text with links. And I'm going to talk about that and also provide some examples so you'll understand what I'm talking about. So let's get started with some of these telephone scams. If you haven't heard about it, or if you know somebody who has received this grandparent/relative scam, with the phone call saying that they're in distress, maybe they're in the hospital, they don't have money to do something, maybe they were arrested, and we need you to send money right away. Please don't call mom and dad. I'm only calling you. And I'm going to actually put the arresting officer on the line if it's a scenario with the arrestment. And then they'll tell you, hey, we have your grandchild here or relative here, and if you provide such and such amount of money, they may instruct you to go get gift cards and a certain amount, let's say $200 for 5 gift cards, and come back and scratch the numbers and call this number back and provide the numbers off of the gift cards so that you can make the payment. So please, this scam is rampant, but it's an old scam, but they're still using it today, especially with the pandemic. People are receiving phone calls that I can't pay for my medicine. I need to get a vaccine. I'm in the hospital, just all types of scenarios. Before you fork over your money and believe that someone is actually in distress, calm down and verify the information. Hang up and call the person that they're supposed to be talking about. But first and foremost, don't call out the name, because they'll say, "Hi, grandma, it's me." Don't say, "Jackie, is that you?" You have just divulged the name of one of your grandchildren. Another scam that we're hearing about, people are receiving calls saying that their social security number is frozen. No government agency will call you. Verify with the Social Security Administration directly yourself, not calling a number that's left on the phone, and don't press 1 to invite the information onto the line. So we should know that no government agency is going to call you about your Social Security card. Credit card scams, large purchases made in a different state. We're just calling to verify that that was you that made that purchase. And you might say, "No, I didn't make that purchase." Well, let me have your credit card number to verify, because I'm showing that this purchase was made. Again, who's on the other line? You don't really know. So if someone is calling you and asking you for personal information pertaining to any credit cards, banking information, please don't provide that. You don't know who is on the other line. Financial relief scams, we're hearing about this, investment opportunities, consolidation, modifications. We got buy now, pay later, and lowering APRs, and the list goes on and on. So you may be receiving phone calls to help with some type of financial relief that you may be looking for, or just the opportunity sounds good to you. Do your homework. That's what we're here for. Verify whom you're talking to. If it's an opportunity for an investment, do your homework. Contact us to see if the company that you're thinking about doing business with is actually licensed by us or by the federal, the SEC, which is on the federal level. So don't allow an opportunity of a financial relief have you do something without verifying the information. And I want to go back to the buy now, pay later. A lot of companies, even Amazon, are offering buy now, pay later. Be mindful when you're using your credit card or you're making these monthly payments. Be mindful about the small print and how the APR is and how things work. So Sally said earlier that, another new authority that we have and that we're regulating are debt collectors. And you should know your rights when dealing with any debt collector. We all know that this is a third party trying to collect on a debt. They say that you owe. They must confirm the debt is yours, and you need to know that you actually owe it. Otherwise, you just hang up. We have people who are receiving phone calls, and it's really unfortunate that these calls can be harassing and threatening individuals, which puts another level of fear on us to say, you know what, how can I make this payment right? But if you know that you don't owe it, please don't pay it and just hang up on the caller. I get this phone call just about every day, and they've been trying to reach me to get a hold of me because my car warranty is expired and they want me to renew. And I had a gentleman in another presentation, and he said he got the same phone call, and he asked them, well, which car are you talking about? And the caller said, you know what car I'm talking about. You know which one. And he says, I have 3 cars. When they could not tell him what car they were calling for, he knew that that was a red flag sign. I know that I don't have a car warranty on my car. So when I get that call, I immediately hang up. Now they're starting to send me letters. So don't allow fear or someone constantly calling you about something that you don't have to move you to act. The infamous IT help. If you're starting to see pop-ups or your screen, gets locked, disconnect from the internet and shut down your device immediately. Pop-ups are often used by criminals to spread malicious software. People are receiving phone calls and maybe you're not even on your computer, but they're telling you, there's been a virus attack on your computer, but I can help correct that. Please pay such and such amount. We're also hearing, not just with the computers, it's also on our cell phones. I got a phone, I'm understanding that there was a person who phone was probably hacked, and it appeared that this individual needed some assistance to go get some gift cards for a birthday gift, but it wasn't true. So please verify your information, whether it's family, friend, neighbor, that you get an email asking you to do something on their behalf. I'm on vacation and my wallet was stolen. If you know your neighbor is not on vacation, don't buy into the email or the text message. Please verify your information first. So we all know that charity scams come with any disaster. Scammers surface and they say they are providing financial help. We have wildfires, we have shootings, we have, the people over in Ukraine, Haiti, and the list goes on. And, we all want to do something to help maybe, but if someone calls you and is saying, oh, we're doing a fundraiser for this particular disaster, would you mind giving? And you don't know who's calling you, so you want to verify. With charitynavigator.org, you can go there to verify where your money is going. And this is the main thing to remember when someone calls you about giving money to a specific charity based off of a disaster. The police, sheriff, and the fire departments do not call to solicit. So if someone calls and indicates that they're from either of those three, police, sheriff, or fire, you need to hang up immediately. And you can also report that to your local PD, sheriff, or fire department. They do not call to solicit for fundraising. Advance fees, and this is something simple, asking for upfront fee to get something, maybe lowering your APR, maybe for consolidation, maybe for help for a modification, or something as simple to upgrade services for your cable company. You'll get so many more channels if you want to upgrade, but before we upgrade, you will have to ask for the deposit of such and such amount. There are so many free resources when it comes to relief opportunities or other types of help that you may be seeking. So before you pay an upfront fee to do anything, check with your resources, and we can be one of those as well. Affinity fraud, a lot of our audiences don't know what this is or have never even heard of this terminology. And what this is, it preys upon members of identifiable groups, such as your religion or ethnic communities, the elderly, or professional associations. And what these people do, they promote the opportunity pretending to be members of the same association or affiliated with something that you're affiliated, so that you can carry the message to your organization with the hopes of bringing in other people. And these are high pressure sales, and they are false promises, and we've had examples of people purchasing or making an investment on a piece of land with the promises to build and that you would make so much money, and years go on and nothing has happened, and the land is completely bare. So affinity fraud, don't always believe the individual. It doesn't matter how long you've known them or what you're affiliated with together, always do your homework, okay? Government imposters, this is so rampant right now. Government imposters, the utility call, a caller from the delinquent department of DWP calls and says your services are going to be shut off if you don't pay right away. We'll take check by phone, even your credit card, any form of payment, we can do it right now. Remember, government agencies don't call us. Even IRS is not calling you to tell you that your taxes are due, that your payment is late. But we're seeing an influx of financial institutions calling, saying something like, hi, I see you've been a customer of ours for a long time, and we're going through all of our members' records, but we're verifying and updating our informational records. So could you verify, your social security number? Could you verify the last the digits of your credit card number? Stop and think. If your financial institution is calling to verify or update any type of record and you've been a member for a long time, they should be providing that information to you. Again, remember, we don't always know who is on the other end of the line. So be cautious when you pick up your phone and someone is indicating of an organization that you may be familiar with. These are all scams, and they're mostly through cold calling, but let's not stop there because the scammers don't. So let's talk about cyber frauds and internet scams, okay? Since the pandemic, millions are using online services for many things. We call these alternative methods. And they're easier. You don't have to leave your home to do your banking, to do your shopping. You can do digital transactions by using Zelle and PayPal and Venmo. So these alternative methods has allowed us to make things easier. But we want to be mindful that phishing, vishing, and smishing play a big part. Phishing is through the computer or our emails, and that's wanting you to take the bait with providing personal information. Phishing is another way of saying voice phishing. It's a fraudulent phone call urging the recipient to reveal sensitive information. Smishing stands for short, SMS stands for short message services. Again, urging the recipient to click a link or call a number back that they have provided where they want you again to provide personal information. Clicking the link can download malware onto our device. So some examples of phishing would be when we get our cell phone and we look at it and it's an unknown caller. Why are we answering that? You know, you get a phone call again with somebody identifying themselves as your financial institution. Same goes for text messages and your emails. So please don't call the number ever left on your machine. Don't respond to unknown calls and don't respond to text message. Don't even press yes or no. Go to the source yourself. And if you're receiving some of those short message services and they basically look like they'll have a number and it'll say SMS. I got one the other day and it was saying BOA, which is Bank of America. Your card has been locked. Please call this number as soon as possible. I don't have a Bank of America account. So we have to be mindful that people are always phishing and vishing and smishing, and they're looking for individuals to fall prey. And it has been told to us that, you know, some Verizon customers were receiving text messages which actually showed their own phone numbers, offering them gifts. You know, if you know that you're not expecting a package, don't click on a link telling you, hey, you know, your package is due to arrive. Check the tracking here. So please don't fall for that. My main thing today, if you haven't heard anything, do your homework and go to the source yourself. So I want to go to the next slide and I want to show you some of the examples of what I just described to you. So this slide here, the internet, we know that the internet is helpful and harmful at the same time. Again, we're shopping, researching, Googling information, but how do you know if you're on a secure website? Are you looking at the HTTP? Does it have an S, which stands for secure? Are you looking for the closed lock in the corner to show that it's secure, the site? Are you hovering over the hyperlink and looking for differences in websites and the link address? Pay attention to the extension of all emails. There's things called copycat sites. For example, Amazon.com is the right email, but people are receiving Amazon.con, C-O-N. Be careful clicking into unknown emails. This is another example. You might receive an email or a letter in the mail. Look at the errors, and they're noted here in red. Remember to hover over the links to confirm that it's the actual email. This doesn't make any sense. If it's from Bank of America, why would the email, and I'm talking about the from line, why would the email say it's from Comcast.net? So please, please, please read it and look at the errors and look at the extensions, okay? Another example are these here. You're getting text message. I have identified some unusual activity on your online banking. Please log into this website to secure your account. Don't do that. We see another one here about a parcel that is arriving. If you know you're not expecting a package, don't do it. But again, this doesn't look like a DHL website to track a package. And on the right-hand corner at the top, again, Chase Bank, your card is temporarily locked. And I got that message and it's telling me to call this number to unlock it. Please don't call the number. Remember, the girl from DFPI said I should go to the source, which means call my bank immediately. We're seeing a lot of this. Did you attempt a Zelle payment? Now, when you do Zelle, Cash App, or Venmo, you're transferring money and it's a digital transaction. So think about it. If you automatically get an email or a text message with this question, you should automatically be able to know that it's a red flag sign and not to reply by saying yes or no. Why? Because to do a digital transaction, we have to perform the action ourselves. So again, calling your bank, never the number, not replying yes or no. We've had instances where people have replied, no, I didn't do that. And they got a phone call immediately with someone posing as their financial institution. Go to the source yourself. And here are some other cyber safety tips. We provide a ton of personal information, our PIN numbers, our credit or our debit cards, and the list goes on when we're using online services. So here are some cyber safety tips that I thought would be very interesting and I wanted to share. So the copycat sites, again, intended to mirror the official website. And like I said, Amazon.com, C-O-M, not con, C-O-N. And I stress that because a young lady didn't pay attention and she bought something off of Amazon and immediately she got a message back to her saying that there was a problem with her credit card. Please re-enter your information. And when she did, and she noticed after she pressed the button, it was .con, not com. So hovering plays a big part. Remember, these copycat sites carry malware that infects computers and allows criminals to access your files, okay? The emails instruct you to update information and all sorts of things. So let's talk about how we can protect our computers and our cell phones. Do you think about having a two-step verification? And that's called a multi-authentication factor, which sends a code to you to verify that it is actually you logging on. I have face identity. So unless someone looks exactly like me to get into one of my accounts, it's going to be harder for them to do that. So think about an extra layer of protection on your cell phone and logging into your computer, which I said, the code comes directly to you for verification. Passwords. We've been using passwords for many, many years. And so scammers know that. So we want to start using different types of passwords or passphrases, not the common or the regular. It's my birthday or anniversary, my kids or my grandkids' birthdays. Start using something with a passphrase and incorporate some numbers and exclamation points or something in there, which will give the hacker a little bit of run for their money. And please limit our personal information. Facebook posts, limit the amount of personal information you post and only add people that you know. If you are on social media, be mindful. Folks stalk your pages and they're gathering information about you. So we're excited that you're going on vacation, that you're leaving on the 1st and you're coming back on the 15th. We don't need to know all of that. So limit your personal information when you're online. We're signs of an online dating scam. Seniors are older adults are excited. I know my mom is to be a part of this modern technology. You know, a lot of us are lonely, isolated, and welcome the attention, whether it's via phone call and or the internet now. So these are online interactions which can occur on a dating app, or social media, or other websites, which involves scammers forming fake romantic relationships with victims in order to manipulate them and take their money. So be mindful. If you're looking for love, you don't have to look for it over a computer, but if you are and you meet someone, they're claiming to be in love with you, and when they start asking you to come off of the site so that you can keep the conversation personal, that's a red flag. Another red flag is if you they start asking you for money for emergencies, or my phone is so old, I wish I can FaceTime you and see you. Do you mind helping me out? When they start asking for money, that's another red flag sign. Okay, so please be mindful about the online scams. And one of the things that we're also hearing about with these online scams, older adult related, they're incorporating cryptocurrency. They'll start saying things like, oh, I'm good at, or I have a relative that is good at investing with cryptocurrency. Have you heard about that? That's a very, very complex situation, I'll say. So be mindful. If you don't understand something, you do your homework and don't just jump into it because, quote unquote, your lover is asking you to do that. So we know that the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center reports that more than 3,000 Californians have fell victim to online romance scams last year. So losing a total of nearly $184 million. And it's climbing. So you don't have to pay to find love this way. You might find yourself in financial shambles. So be mindful of online dating and finding love online. So let's review. I know I've said a lot. With the telephone, it's always best to just hang up. Don't call the number that's left on your machine. Go to the source yourself. If it's somebody that you know that is trying to get a hold of you and it maybe showed up with a number that you didn't recognize, let them leave a voice message. If you know them, then you make the return phone call. Check with your phone company to block or set up scam likely calls. You can also register with the Do Not Call Registry, which is administered through the Federal Trade Commission, and it's good for 5 years for your home and your cell. And I get a lot of questions. I'm already signed up with the Do Not Call Registry. We're going to always get solicitations. We're going to always get these kinds of phone calls. But being on the Do Not Call Registry at least allows them to track or try to track where these numbers are coming from. And please, if someone instructs you to purchase cards and provide numbers to pay a bill or make a payment of such, be mindful that is a big red flag sign. Online, we talked about changing the passwords and hovering and doing all of that other stuff. And remember, when you're online, remember to log out of what you're looking at so that it's not just hanging out there, okay? Internet, email, or text messages, the same. Again, I'm imploring you to hover over the link to verify and look for the secure, the S, and the closed lock. I talk about mail because a lot of people don't shred their mail. They just drop their unwanted, we used to call it junk mail, but remember, one person's junk is another person's treasure, especially if it's an application that you don't want, or you just don't want another credit card application. Don't just toss it into the trash. We still have dumpster divers. So don't leave your mail for pickup in the blue box after the last time frame. We have people still coming around, looking into the blue boxes. Retrieve all your packages off of your porch as soon as you know that they're delivered. And your outside mailboxes with the flag, be mindful and try to gauge when your postman is going to come and pick that up. Credit versus debit transactions, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this, or at least shed some light on the fact that there's a device that's called a skimmer. It's an skimmer, and they were known to be detected outside ATM machines and at gas stations. You know how you put your card in there and you press your PIN number, and there's that skimmer in there, which you can't see. Your information has now been compromised. So I'm going to suggest, when we are using our debit cards for whatever kind of purchases we're doing, use the option credit so that you don't have to punch in your PIN number. And you can just hit that green button or tell the cashier, I want to do credit versus debit. This will alleviate that chance of your information being picked up. Those of us who still write checks, and I know a lot of older adults, and I still do on occasion, be mindful that if, God forbid, your check is stolen from the mail, there is a solution that individuals can purchase and check wash the amount plus whom the payee is to. So if you're a check writer, I'm suggesting that you get an anti-fraud gel pen when you're writing your checks, easily purchased at Office Depot, Staples, places like that, and it will say it on the packet. Monitor and freezing your credit. If you're done with establishing new credit, this is something that you should think about doing, putting the freeze on there. My mom is not going to buy a new car. She's not buying a home. She's not doing anything new with any new credit cards. When you put a freeze on your credit, it protects anybody from trying to open up new credit in your name. But you have to be proactive in monitoring your present credit because it doesn't protect that. You are the protector of that. So review your statements carefully and dispute any charges that's not yours immediately. And if you're unfamiliar with how to do your credit checks, here's information we provided for you, the 3 credit bureaus, and it provides a phone number as well as the email. And we all should know that you can get your free annual credit report at least one time per year. But if you want to be real proactive with it, you do one from one credit bureau, 3 months later, do the next one, 3 months later, do the next one. Stagger it out, but just be mindful and pay attention to your billing statements when they come in monthly. So how can you protect yourself from fraud? Number one, always trust your instincts. And we know the saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So you want to proceed with caution and do the number one thing, do your homework, and never give out your personal information unless you initiated the contact, whether it's over the phone, text message, or an email. And always go to the source yourself. I know a lot of the phone calls that we receive brings fear among us, but don't act before you go to the source yourself, which means don't call the number that's left on your answer machine. Don't answer unknown calls. Go to the source yourself. How can the DFPI help you? Well, learn about us at our website here. We host a whole lot of information, great resources on our website. You can also call us by contacting our consumer services office, and we have a toll-free number here. We do not ask for immigration status. We have dozens of language translations, and when you call us, we can verify whether the institution or the organization that you're thinking about doing business with is properly licensed, or if there's been any kind of disciplinary action taken. We can also help you file a complaint if you feel like you have been defrauded or scammed. You are our eyes and our ears. So we don't know about someone doing unscrupulous business or deceptive practices unless you share that information with us. So please, if you know something, please contact us. And if you just have a simple question, you can call us or you can email us at AskDFPI. And again, if you're interested in our Protect Yourself from Fraud booklet that Sally showed earlier in her presentation, you can email us and we will certainly get a copy to you. And lastly, stay in touch with us. Subscribe to our communications. It's a monthly newsletter that we provide, and it has great information about what we're doing, and it does host other types of scams in there. So we try to stay in the know, and we want you to as well. And you can always follow us on social media. And we put together this helpful resource page. It's like a one-stop shop out of the information that I provided for you today. And I've also provided some other helpful resources in case you didn't know where to go to find that. So that's going to conclude my presentation today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for viewing this Next Village video recording. We hope you enjoyed it. Please help us spread the word and tell friends and neighbors about Next Village events and services for seniors and adults with disabilities in San Francisco. Visit our website to learn more about our vibrant, growing network, as well as to view our calendar of upcoming Zoom and in-person events and activities in San Francisco. Our website is nextvillagesf.org. Contact us to join our email list to learn about events and resources for seniors in San Francisco. And subscribe to the Next Village YouTube channel by clicking the button below.